Excited to be home this week. Excited to see Bronco Nation, Albertson Stadium, and get a chance to play in front of our home crowd. And I know these guys are looking forward to that as well. Get back out on the blue, practicing there all week, and knowing that we don't have to travel, and we get a chance to kind of have a home schedule as far as the week goes. So we haven't done that yet. So we'll go through that plan and process this week. I thought just kind of looking at the game and recapping that, one thing, our conditioning was very good. So Coach Pittman, Jim Spooner, their staffs did a great job of getting these guys physically prepared to go play. So we had one cramp in the game in a really hot weather game, and think we prepared well for it with some of the stuff that we did. Certainly our guys mentally were prepared to go in there and play. I thought the guys in the game, just watching the film, real simple, not going through everybody's assignments, but the guys competed. I thought the entire trip from the flight all the way to the end of the game and getting home, the guys were focused. They did a good job and did it the right way, and we talk about that, and that's important to us. Overall take from the game, we got to improve. And that's really what it comes down to. Certainly, we pay attention, to obviously winning the game is what the ultimate goal is, but you start looking at the standard and what we're trying to accomplish. Improvement is the key, and certainly that's going to be the conversation that we've already had and will continue to have this week. Big day today. It's Coach Huff's birthday. It's his favorite day of the year, so you guys give a little shout out to Coach Huff. I was in there grinding away. And then players of the game from last week. So Darren Lee was the hammer carrier. Had earned that, rightfully so, from last season. Offensive player of the game was Ced Wilson. Defensive player of the game was Tanner Vallejo. Offensive lineman of the game was Travis Averill. Defensive lineman of the game was Sam McCaskill. And then a little new one this year, a Hard Hat Award, which goes to an outstanding special teams player, was Brock Barr. Scouters, don't want to leave them out. Scout players of the week on offense. All right, so he's also was an award winner for the Hard Hat, but was also the Scout of the Week, Brock Barr. Defensive scouter, Coyote Rufai. Special teams scouter was Jalen Walker. And then we call it Blue Blood. These guys are the young guys that are lifting and working, and they have a little bit different workout schedule than the varsity guys do that are playing, but Avery Williams was the award winner there. Washington State, I think the one thing that stands out, first of all, you start talking about just offensively, Coach Leach done a great job over his career of developing his system, and I think he's one of the innovators of college football when it comes to the offensive side in particular. But this team, they averaged 515 total yards a game. It's an air raid system. Luke Falk, I'm very impressed with him. Walk-on, chip on his shoulder, very good player, moves well, has got very good feet, instincts, gets the ball out quickly, and I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Gabe Marks, wide receiver, the guy's a stud, was a first-team All-Pac-12, had a bunch of yards last year, very good player for them on offense. And then River Crawcraft, 4-year starter as well, Bolitnikoff Award, watch list player. But this offense has led the country in the past 2 seasons in passing. And so certainly they do a very good job in what they do. Defensively, they got number 18 coming back, their safety, very good player, off a suspension, and he'll be back in this game. And certainly he shows up on the film we watched from last season. 2 other guys, and they have quite a few players on defense, but a couple guys that also stood out in this first game. Hercules on the defensive line, and Robert Barber as well, were guys that showed up and are very good players. I think they do a good job on defense. They certainly improved last year. I don't know exactly the stats right now, but made a lot of improvement on the defensive side, and very impressed with how well they're coached on the defensive side of the ball, and they do a great job. Special teams, very good. What we saw in this last game, we've obviously went back and watched film from last season, but very good special teams unit. And the guys that are playing for them really did a great job out there. They got a couple different punters, don't know exactly what to expect on special teams from these guys, but certainly because it's early in the year. We have to still plan for the unexpected and be prepared for that. But I think they've done a very good job from what we've seen from last year to this year and the improvements they've made. So this will be a big game, a big test, and certainly excited to be at home and get a chance to play them, and looking forward to the challenge. So with that, open up for questions.
What did you see in their game the other day? What happened in that game, and how, I guess, extra motivated do you expect them to come in here not wanting to go to 0-2?
Well, certainly they'll be motivated. I think any team, it's only the second game of the season. I know there was 100 games played on one day and all that, still going into week 2. And certainly, they're going to be talking about the same things. I don't know all the details, of what some of the issues might have been in there, but the one thing I don't think anybody gives, some of these teams in FCS a lot of credit for. Their players are very good. Their top guys are equally as good as ours, and certainly, those guys from Eastern Washington, they've played in big games, they've won big games. I don't know how many teams want to play Eastern Washington, number one, but certainly, they lost the game, so they're going to have things to look at. I think if they'd won the game, they'd have things to look at like every team in the country. But fully expect these guys to come in here. They're going to be fast. That's one thing on defense. We'll see better speed than what we saw probably in the last game, and probably one of the faster teams we'll see this entire season because they got very good players on the defensive side.
You talked about Coach Leach maybe being one of the innovators of the game. I don't know if you could elaborate on that, and just the air raid in general, how that particular style stresses it on, or stresses the defense.
Yeah. Well, I read a book, I don't know how long ago he wrote it, Swing the Sword, I think is what it was called, and just kind of his story and the different places he's been, what he believed in, how he developed the system, has been consistent with it and has gotten better and better. It's proven over time. There's a lot of teams in the country that have built their offenses off of the air raid. Certainly a lot that still use it, but a lot of the concepts and different things offensively have come from what you see that a Coach Leach and that tree has put together. And so just from an offensive standpoint, he's a guy that continues to make it work, continues to believe in it, continues to influence other teams, and certainly I think that's an innovator when you look at it from that standpoint. And they're very good, and he's been good on the offensive side of the ball I think everywhere he's been, and that continues.
When you were recruiting Brett, how much did you think a threat Washington State was, considering his family ties and location and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think in recruiting, I think everybody has maybe a dream school. Everybody's got a place in their head they wanted to go. I certainly had a place in my mind as a high school player. This is where I wanted to be, and sometimes things don't work out that way, or it's just not what you thought it was going to be. So I really don't know. I mean, we were just trying to recruit him, get him to Boise. Thought he'd be a great fit. He was one of the guys we were recruiting at that time, and certainly wanted to get him here. And I just think that relationship that he had with myself, Coach Sanford at the time, it was the right fit. And I think that's what guys look for. And Brett's certainly a guy, he's very mature and understands what's going to be the right situation for him. What style does he also think he can play well at? And certainly Boise State was the place he felt.
Coach, you guys struggled the last time you guys were on the booth, the final 2 games at home, and then also with that, you guys have struggled against Washington State overall as a whole. So how important is this game to be back here on the blue and protecting it?
Yeah, so 15 years ago against Washington State. Yeah, I really haven't gone back to that one and looked at it.
I figured that.
Yeah, and as far as this is a new season. Everybody's got stuff from last season and all that, so we're not focused on that. We're focused on the next game.